In the city, ravaged and scarred, buildings lay in ruins all around. With the infected multiplying every hour, we need answers, or we will never find peace. Welcome to the 4th episode of What's in Undawn. In this episode, we're going to highlight how the world in Undawn became so hopeless. In the year 164 of the federal calendar, a team of researchers discovered a brand new element called flare, discovered from a meteorite. The crystalline mineral derived from this element sparked various breakthroughs across various industries and scientists around the world. Unfortunately, this discovery also brought forth the world's destruction. Fast forward to the year 258 of the federal calendar. Disaster struck the capital of Mercer on the west coast. Countless infected took over the streets and turned the once gorgeous coastal cities into ruins. The governors ordered all survivors to evacuate cities and establish emergency shelters. From what we know now, the massive mutation is closely related to the orange crystal from the meteorite. Although the various infected look different, you will find one thing in common: orange crystal in their body. Once considered a blessing, those orange crystals are now symbols of the infected, mutation, and doomsday. The survivors of this disaster have set aside their differences, gathered up to form a larger force, and established shelters to defend themselves. This is how Raven and other outposts were formed. We already know a lot about the Raven Shelter since it's our home base. It's a shelter that the Raven Squad built from the ground up by taking in survivors from all over and providing them with food, water, and shelter. Players will join the Raven Squad to discover the truth behind the apocalypse and embark on an adventure in Undawn. After a short era of peace among survivors, shortages of supplies and resources led to various conflicts and friction among them, leading some of them to become more hostile and split off into different factions. Besides the Raven Shelter, there are other shelters such as the Reavers in the Redwood Forest, the Owl Gang in the Central Plains, the Clowns in the Lost City, and the Eagles hiding out in the coal mines. Of course, there will be some crises along the way as we explore the truth while battling against hostile factions. Those hostile factions are tough and quite nasty, but finding out why they became so hostile might help us deal with those factions. For instance, the leader of the Reavers, Rob Diesel, used to be a kind logger, but after his wife and daughter died, he abandoned all his good intentions and became a vengeful warrior. The Owl Gang used to be thugs from 5th Street, but now they've banded together and become skilled vehicle modders. Their colorful hair is their signature look, and they're plotting some shady stuff. The Clowns are made up of hardcore felons who advocate for corruption and freedom. Their leader is the explosives expert, Teven White. During the disaster, he and his cellmates broke free from their cells and seized weapons from the guards, becoming a major hostile faction in this post-apocalyptic world. Compared to the Clowns, the Eagles have even more firepower. They used to be a group of well-trained mercenaries, but after the apocalypse, they joined forces with retired soldiers and special forces to become one of the most threatening forces to exert control with their high-quality weapons and combat skills. The world has become a crazy, complex place, and the Raven Outpost has become the last fortress and hope for survivors. Although everyone has different desires, a desire for a safe, reliable sanctuary of their own is shared. You will discover many interesting and moving moments in your journey. As a member of the Raven team, you will thrive to find a new hope for humanity. In your journey to find hope, you will also write your own story and make history. You will also find the stories of others in Undawn. These stories can be found in every corner of the world, and we hope you enjoy these stories. For example, when first entering the game, you'll be introduced with the storyline of saving Daniel. Daniel is a surviving logger and the leader of the Redwood Outpost. His wife died in the mutation, and he is currently raising his 7-year-old son, Howard, alone. As players rush to the Redwood Outpost to save Daniel, he faces a horde of infected surrounding him. You'll be challenged to save both him and his son. Can you do it? In addition, survivors will also receive guidance from a legendary survivor, Trey Jones. Fighting side by side with Trey Jones, you will discover 7 unique stories that are associated with 7 different keywords. Don't miss out. We're thrilled to have you join us in creating the ultimate end-of-the-world story for a mobile game. Together, We hope to craft even more immersive stories as we expand the world of Undawn. That's it for this episode of What's in Undawn. Share your comments and feedback below and let us know what you'd like to see in a future episode. And remember, when it comes to Undawn, explore, adapt, and survive.